Okay, Fred, will you first and Brig you second to open the meeting?
Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
Okay, so moved by Fred, seconded by Brig, that the council meeting of May 20th, 2020 do now open for business at 7 p.m. Again, we're going to do it like we did last time, so I'm going to ask you, each one of you individually. Kat, I'm going to do it this time. I'm going to do it in order of how it's on the actual motion. Kath, yes? Yes or no? Okay. Frederick?
Yep.
Brig?
Yep.
Rod?
Yes.
So yes, that's carried. So we'll just kind of give everyone a refresher. It's been a while since we've had this type of meeting. Well, a few weeks since we've had this type of meeting. To remind everyone, this will be recorded and placed on the municipal website, so public will have access to it. Everything except obviously the in-camera portions of the meeting. So if everyone understands that, I'm sure. Now, are there any conflicts of interest?
No.
None. Okay. No delegations. Okay, moving on to item 4, discussions arising from the previous council minutes.
Yes, I got one, Laurie.
Yeah, go ahead, Rod.
On that site plan control there, you said, I don't know if you said or Belinda said that the planner recommend that to us.
That's correct.
What did he recommend? Like, why didn't we get a copy of whatever he said there? Because I would like to have that before I voted on that bylaw, but it's passed now. But is there any, did he send anything explaining why he recommended?
Belinda, can you answer that, please?
Yes, a site plan, but there was never anything following up with what we would be requiring of anyone who had like a larger industrial or commercial building. So that was why with some of the development coming into town, we have been recommending. So it was something that was in place. It was just with the bylaw, we just made it more clear.
I don't mean to interrupt, but I heard a word Belinda has said yet.
Yeah,
I agree.
It's really quiet for me as well.
Oh,
Is it?
sorry. Okay, I'll try to get a little bit closer.
I didn't hear it all.
Okay, sorry. I'll try to get closer.
Oh, there, that's much better.
Much better? Okay,
Yeah.
sorry. Okay, so sorry, I'll try to remember what I just said. As you, if you ever refer to our planning bylaw, there was already in place applications for a site plan control. But unfortunately, that was never followed up with an application or a bylaw defining what we would actually require of a commercial or industrial or a larger development coming into town. So our planner just wanted to follow up with what we already had in place and just define and make it clear.
Well, that's the reason why I asked the question, because I read a bylaw there today on the website, and then it put in there the same thing as that we voted for. Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Rod. Any other comments on the minutes?
Mr. Chair?
Yes, go ahead, Rick.
Oh, it's not well, regarding the minutes just before we approve them, it's just a typo on the last motion 2025-67 when we were adjourning. I think the adjournment time's incorrect. It says 2:31 p.m.
Okay, noted.
Okay, that's noted.
Thank you.
Yeah, just so we don't, approve the minutes with something incorrect.
Perfect. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, so to approve the minutes, Kathy, will you first?
I will.
And Frederick second.
Yep. Yep.
Moved by Kathy, seconded by Fred, that the following council minutes be accepted as presented. Regular council minutes, April 20th, 2020. Closed session minutes, April 20th, 2020. Kathy, yes?
Yes.
Or no? Yes. Frederick, yes or no?
Yes.
Greg?
Yes.
Rod?
Yes.
Yes, that is carried. Okay, moving on to minutes and reports. Item 6A, Township of Nairn and Hyman CAO's report number 2020-006. I'm going to go down in order again as on the motions. So Catherine, do you have anything? Kathy, do you have anything to say on that particular report?
I'm sorry, which report is that?
So that would be 2020-006.
No, I don't.
Okay. Next, Frederick, yourself.
No, I don't have anything to say about that specific one, but I just liked the fact that there was options in all the reports and what council would do, and if we picked option number 2, what would happen, or what would be the liabilities for us.
Right.
So I really liked how that was all included. So thank you, Linda.
Nice to hear. Thanks. Next will be Brig, yourself.
Yes, one thing I do agree with the deputy mayor about the report. It's they're all great with the options and all the information. It's quite clear and concise. I did have a couple of questions though on this one. First off, for one question, I have a couple if that's okay, Mr. Chair. One question is, why would we do this retroactively to December 1st, 2018? Is that because that's the term of council?
That's correct. We couldn't have done it before that because those councils don't exist any longer.
Right. And so now, did our previous administration miss this, or is it something new?
No, they have missed it for years and years, to be honest.
Oh, okay. And my last question is, I'd like, there was a couple of times during the report where it said that council has made decisions that are not in compliance, and then further down that many decisions council has made are not legal. Can you please give me an example of one of these many decisions? Like, that kind of worries me, those sentences.
Okay, I'm going to ask Belinda to respond to that.
Thank you.
Yeah, in response to that, Brigida, for example, there has been some decisions made since December 1st, 2018 regarding previous employees, and if these decisions were ever challenged, could be substantial financial costs incurred just to defend these resolutions and decisions made by this council.
So just really like previous employment, like are there other decisions, or is it just regarding staff and employees and council, or is it regarding anything? Like, is there another example, not an employee?
Yeah, there's several decisions regarding entering into agreements, for example, for work being done. There should have been either a bylaw passed, or like what we're trying to put in place right now, a confirmatory bylaw, that if those people tried to turn around and say, for example, change their terms, that our decision would be legal and noted in a bylaw or in that resolution supported by a confirmatory bylaw. So there's quite a few decisions that we're just trying to make legal.
And so if we pass this bylaw, are now all of those many decisions now legal?
That's correct.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
Roger, Kathy, do you have anything you'd like to add?
No, I have nothing, Laurie.
Okay. We're gonna, as we go through each of the reports, there are some motions that will relate to them. So we'll get those out of the way as we're going through, and then we'll note, we'll do the motion noting them as being received if everyone's okay with that. So on this motion is just to, so I'm going to read the motion first and then I'll speak to you on it. That the CAO's report 2020-006 dated May 14th, 2020 be received. And that council adopt the confirmatory bylaw for all meetings from the inaugural meeting of council for the time period of December 1st, 2018 to date. And that council approve the addition of the confirmatory bylaw to the Tuesday, May 19th, 2020 meeting agenda. And that, oh, May 20th, that's for cancel last night, so we're just going to make that change. And the council approved the addition of the confirmatory bylaw to the Tuesday, May 20th, 2020 meeting agenda. And that council approves the addition of the confirmatory bylaw to every future council meeting, special council meeting. Sorry, we have motions from last night and we're just noticing that they're saying Tuesday when they should say Wednesday and a day late. So anyways, the ending of that resolution, and that council approves the addition of the confirmatory bylaw to every future council meeting, special council meeting, emergency council meeting, and in-camera council meeting until such a time as the procedural bylaw can be amended. Rod, can I get a first from you?
Yes.
And Frederick, a second.
Yes.
Thank you. So I'll read it again. Moved by Rod, seconded by Fred. That the CAO's report 2020-006 dated May 14th, 2020 be received for information, and that the council adopt the confirmatory bylaw for all meetings from the inaugural meeting of council for the time period of December 1st, 2018 to date. And that council approve the addition of the confirmatory bylaw to the Wednesday, May 20th, 2020 meeting agenda. And that council approves the addition of the confirmatory bylaw to every future council meeting, special council meeting, emergency council meeting, and in-camera council meeting until such a time as the procedural bylaw can be amended. Kathy? Kathy, yes or no?
I think you were breaking up quite a bit. Maybe it was her breaking it up. I don't know.
Did we lose her?
Yeah, it doesn't look like she's in it.
We'll give her a minute to call back in before we actually vote on it then.
You seem to be breaking up. I don't know what compared to the last meeting, Laurie.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna move in a little closer now and boot Linda down to the end of the table.
Okay.
Does that sound better?
Me, sorry.
Yeah.
Okay, you're back,
here.
Ed? Sorry about that. We
Yes,
lost
my
you.
iPad decided to update or reboot or do something, and it's
Kicked
still
you out.
doing whatever it's doing. So I'm on the phone now.
Okay, all right. All right, so we're just voting on that motion that was read. Did you hear all the information on that motion?
No, I did not.
Okay, let me reread it then. Moved by Rod, seconded by Fred, that the CAO's report 2020-006 dated May 14th, 2020 be received for information. And that council adopt the confirmatory bylaw for all meetings from the inaugural meeting of council for the time period of December 1st, 2018 to date. And the council approved the addition of the confirmatory bylaw to the Wednesday, May 20th, 2020 meeting agenda. And that council approves the addition of the confirmatory bylaw to every future council meeting, special council meeting, emergency council meeting, and in-camera council meeting until such time as the procedural bylaw can be amended. Kathy, for or against?
For
Frederick,
For.
bring it up.
Yes.
Rod?
Yes.
Myself, yes, that's carried. Okay, moving on to the CAO's next report, being 2020-007.
Yes, Mr. Chair. Can I,
Yes, go ahead,
through
Rod.
YouTube, pardon me?
Yeah, go
Through
ahead,
you
Rod.
to the CEO.
Mhm.
I just wonder when she came about knowing that there was a mole in that building. Like, she recommended us to accept it, but what did she check before she recommended it? Did she check for mold? Did she check for liens or anything? That's to you, CEO.
Yes, it was checked when we received ownership.
I can hardly hear you.
Sorry. Okay, I'll get closer. Yes, sorry, Rod. Yes, it was checked
okay.
once we received that we received ownership through vesting. It was checked. The municipal superintendent entered the building and detected an extreme smell of mold, and due to health reasons, he left the building. So the previous owner did note that as of a year ago, that he had received a remediation quote, and at that time it was noted that it was a level 3 mold contamination, so the worst being a 4. So that's how we know that. So due to safety concerns, we don't want to enter the building until we can make a decision as to how to properly proceed.
Yes, I understand that, but why wasn't council notified of the mold before then?
I didn't know about
you-
it until like 2 weeks ago.
Well, you said that the previous owner knew a year ago was minus or +3 or whatever you said there.
Yeah. No, you're correct in
So-
saying that, but you're correct, but I wasn't notified of that, his knowledge of that until several weeks ago.
Did we have any, before we took over that building, did we have any access to that building before that?
No, we didn't. No, we didn't.
We weren't legally to do that, or could have we done it?
No, we couldn't have done that because we weren't the legal owners. So when we did try to put it up for that initial tax sale, it was as is, and we didn't have any entry to the building.
Okay, so what else did you check? Did you check for liens or anything like that?
Oh, yes, of course. We have a paralegal that does all that for us. So that was all checked.
Okay. Okay, I'll let it go for now.
Haven't been able to say much on it as I had to declare conflict of interest. Everyone knows that was my property. The number that came in for the remediation, this was a couple years ago. There was someone interested in purchasing from me at that time, was over $73,000. So my advice is that, well, I'm not going to advise, but I don't know that it's a great idea to have a whole bunch of quotes done in this situation when I already know that you know it's probably not going to be worth it. So I'll take your thoughts on that.
You're breaking up, Laurie.
I said I'll take your thoughts on that. You heard the number though?
What was that again?
When I a couple years ago, before when I was the owner of the building, there was someone interested in purchasing. His cousin came in who works for Paul Davis, which is a company in town that's a mold remediation specialist. And at that time, the quote came in at $73,000, slightly above.
Oh, okay.
Any other comments?
Mr. Chair?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Can I ask a question? Or?
Sure.
Yeah. Just, did you say, so it was 73,000 to remove the mold out of the building? Is that what you said? I'm sorry, Mr. Chair.
Yes, and it's a really complicated process because of the level of contamination. It involved an initial spray, removing all of the drywall, all the light fixtures, all the insulation. It basically has to be stripped down to the bare frame on the inside, resprayed again, and then all that work done. So all that was inclusive.
Oh, I see. Okay. Thank you.
The only problem I have with that is why weren't the council notified of that? But that's not up to you, I guess.
No, exactly.
Is it?
And because I had to declare a conflict, I wasn't about to start speaking on it, correct?
Yeah, you're right. You're not supposed to speak on it.
Right.
But I mean, that's an awful blow to the taxpayers.
Well,
Okay, I'm done.
Anyone else have a comment?
I just had a few things, Mr. Mayor.
Yeah, go ahead, Fred.
I believe this this analysis will come up more in the based on what we have on the agenda for the closed session. So I think I'll try and save my comments for then.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know we were going in camera for this. Okay, go ahead.
It's not, that's not actually the item that we're going in camera for. It is on the same property. So I think we'll be okay discussing that, Frederick. So we'll wait till the in-camera discussions.
Okay.
I'm assuming we're not going to make a decision on that property at this time. We'll wait till after the in-camera.
I would think so, yes.
Frederick, you agree?
Yeah, I would like to discuss the letter that was sent to us.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
Okay. We'll set those motions aside for now. Linda, thank you. Okay, item C, Township of Narren and Hyman CAO's report number 2020-008.
Are you taking questions, Mr. Chair?
Yeah, let's go in order. In order that's on the motion sheet.
Oh, okay, sorry.
Kathy, do you have anything?
Not yet, but I'd like to reserve the right to speak in a few minutes if possible.
Certainly. Frederick, yourself?
Yeah, I had a few questions because there's a lot of talk based on municipal standards versus provincial standards. So if we were to take over these roads, would we have, it says municipal standard, but is our municipal standard the whole 30 feet wide with ditching provincial standard?
Belinda, I'll let you speak to that because Belinda has been in conversations with the planner on this.
Okay.
Hi, Frederick. Yeah, you're right. That's a very good question to define provincial standards versus municipal standards. And when we, for example, redo a road, it is up to a certain standard, but that we can appoint a certain standard for roads, and that's designated in our official plan. So for example, out at Sand Bay, that road does not come anywhere close to provincial standards, but because it was assumed by the municipality, it was assumed in its current position. And I'm speaking about Sand Bay Road.
Right.
So when we are going through this plan of subdivision, there's a couple roads that, as noted in the report, we've always thought, and current and previous administration thought that they were under title to the municipality. And going through this process, we realized that they're not. So we do need to define what kind of decision council wants to make regarding these roads. And if we do want to assume them, we do have the right to give them a new standard, which will protect us to not have to upgrade them to a provincial standard.
Okay, thank you.
I just got one more question. Our municipal planner there, he recommended to just accept the two roads the way they are. And I kind of agree with that too.
And on the same page, Rod, as yourself on that.
I think we owe it to them a little bit.
Yeah, agreed. Kathy, did you want to speak to it again?
No, option one sounds good to me.
Okay, Brigida, yourself?
No questions.
Okay.
Option one's, I'll support option one.
Okay, good. And I think we're all pretty much on the same page. Brig, will you first that?
Yes.
Okay. Kathy, second.
Yes.
Moved by Brig, seconded by Kathy. Whereas the township is reviewing the application for the plan of subdivision submitted by the Agnew Lake Property Group, and whereas there have been discussions between the township and the applicant regarding roads in the plan of subdivision, and all parties agreed to formalizing ownership and maintenance of the status quo. And whereas council is in receipt of the CAO's report 2020-008, dated May 14th, 2020, on the Agnew Lake Property Group public roads. Now therefore be it resolved that council intends to accept Baker Drive and Cold Dock Road as municipal roads through the plan of subdivision process in their current conditions. These roads will be maintained at the current standard, and any improvements would be in keeping with the current standard. And further, that a new road standard will apply to Baker Drive and Cold Dock Road to be developed by the municipality prior to approval of the subdivision. Kathy?
For,
Okay. Frederick?
In favor.
Break it up.
Yes, in favor.
Rod?
Yes.
And myself, yes, that is carried. Okay, moving on to D, Township of Narren and Hyman Municipal Superintendent Report, May 13th, 2020. I will start in order again. Kathy, if you have anything.
this damage to Dumont Road, that's extremely unacceptable, in my opinion. We need to try and figure out what to do with that.
Agreed.
McCharles Street as well. I'm not impressed that these people are not getting back to Derek about his request to have this looked at. And the street lights, that's I'm not sure. I'd like to hear other people's opinions on what's going to happen with that.
Okay, Frederick, yourself.
No comments.
Okay, break it up.
Sorry, Mr. Chair. No, I'm good.
Okay. Rod, yourself.
Is this for the whole report?
Yes, yeah, you can speak to anything you want on that report.
Okay. Same with the Mr. Arles Street. Something's got to be done there. Dumont Street. Now, I went up there today, and looked at it. Yeah, you can tell that it's chewed up. But I mean, I don't know if the transporter did all that. I went up there. I usually go up there 2 or 3 times a year and just look at roads and that. And I never ever saw a transporter in there. But it came up before years ago. I don't know if Gingras, Councillor Gingras remember, but they're allowed to bring their vehicles home, transports home with them. That came up here and there, and so I don't know how we can just stop him bringing his truck home. If you look at the bylaws, I'm not familiar with the bylaw, but the bylaws state, but I know that in there and here, they're continue driving their trucks home, transports home, and long they're empty, if I remember right. So I don't know if we can just stop him from doing that, using that road. That's my comment anyway.
Okay, thank you, Rod. We do have a couple motions in front of us, some options.
I need one more on the streetlights.
Yes, yep. Go ahead, Rod.
I don't know. That seemed like a long time, November to now, that no lights. I think the superintendent should look at somehow if we can get it cheaper or somehow to come and fix a light sooner than that. That's a long time. We might not have another light out because those lights are new, and maybe we might not have any problems now. And it's not right to have a light there not working. But I mean, I don't want to pay $1,000 either to have it fixed. But
Right.
You have to have a look at if he can look at somehow how we can correct this. But to me, that's a long time for. Even you could say, well, it's on a stretch or that. But I mean, everybody's entitled to a light, in front of their building or whatever it is. I know I'd be upset at the one by my swamp here. It was out all the time. So anyway, that's my 2 cents there.
Okay, thanks, Rod. Anyone else have anything? We do have a couple motions, a couple options. And what's council's feelings on how you're leaning towards the CAO's options on that?
You broke up, Laurie. I didn't hear hardly a word you said.
Okay, so the privately owned unloaded vehicle, are we fine with status quo, leaving it the bylaw as stands, or would we like to see changes to that bylaw?
I lost you someplace. Which bylaw you're talking about?
The one, it actually is bylaw 2005-6, being a bylaw to prohibit heavy traffic on municipal streets and highways.
Oh, okay. I didn't. I'm sorry, Mr. Chair.
Oh, that's okay.
No. So what? Read that again. What you just read before?
Well,
you don't mind.
are we interested in changing that bylaw, or should we simply have a letter written to the homeowner, the property owner that is believed to be causing the damage? I just wanted to know what type of resolution council was considering on this.
Well, I don't know. He's a taxpayer, and I think he has the right to bring his truck home, but you hate to. And the road, I don't blame the transport did it all. I don't think it was properly done in the first place. It's where you're joined, and I don't know where he lives, but at Sand Bay Road and the beginning of Dumont Street there, he must have to back all the way in, or does he back out, or what? I don't know. Understand what Derek's saying, but I did see the tracks where somebody turned there. But I mean, it's all loose now. But I don't know if it was the transport. Blame the transport for all of it or not. I don't know.
Right.
But I don't think we can stop him from using that road.
Okay, so we do have a motion that I'll read off quickly. We have a few on this one. This would be basically no changes, and the only thing is that we're directing the CAO to write a letter to inform the resident that there is damage occurring on these roads due to tractor trailer use, and to encourage an alternate parking place be found.
Oh, that sounds good. Get
Yeah,
a response from him for that.
Yeah, exactly. So,
I would
go ahead, Frederick. Sorry.
sorry, I would be in support of that. Yeah.
Brigida, your feelings?
Yeah, I would be in support of that. Is the trailer coming in empty, Mr. Chair?
I believe we don't know, right? That's the problem.
Yeah, see, if it's empty, that's one thing, but if it's loaded, then that's absolutely against our bylaw.
Right.
But like, you know, if you do have a tractor trailer, you know, we do allow you to come home with it empty.
Mhm.
But yes, no, I'm in favor of an alternate parking spot for him if we can figure that out.
Okay, Kathy, yourself?
An alternate parking spot would be ideal if he could work that out.
Okay, so and I think if it's brought to his attention through our CAO and he realizes or she realizes that it was discussed at council meeting, maybe that'll give us a little bit of leverage and some encouragement on his end. So, Greg, will you first that?
Yes.
Okay. Frederick, second.
Yes.
Okay. So moved by Bragg, seconded by Fred. Frederick, the council has reviewed the information presented to them from the municipal superintendent report regarding Dumont Road and Sand Bay Road, and that council has noted the damage occurring on these roads due to tractor trailer use. And the council does not wish to amend bylaw 2005-6, being a bylaw to amend bylaw 98-44, being a bylaw to prohibit heavy traffic on municipal streets and highways, section 1, regarding allowing a privately owned unloaded vehicle driven to or from the owner's residence abutting thereon municipal streets. Therefore, be it resolved, the council directs the CAO to write a letter to inform the resident that there is damage occurring on these roads due to tractor trailer use and to encourage an alternate parking place to be found. Kathy?
Or
Frederick?
In favor.
Bring it up.
In favor.
Rod?
Yes.
So, yes, that is carried. If we do. So we have two different motions regarding the street lights. The council is satisfied with current maintenance level of the street lights, or the council directs the CAO to prepare a new street light policy bylaw to allow a maintenance call out when there is 3 street lights requiring repairs.
Excuse me, Mr. Chair, I thought our bylaw already read 3 lights out.
I was under that assumption as well. Belinda was looking for it. I think that's been the way it's been going. I recall Robert saying that many times over the years, that no, we don't do a call out until there's 3.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm okay with 3 anyway. I thought it was already as such, but I'm okay with 3.
Okay, Belinda just gave me some clarification. Sorry, Rod. It's an expired contract with Hydro One that their call out was at 3 lights out. So there technically is no bylaw. So we could prepare one. Rod, go ahead.
I just agreed with Brigida that I remember it's always been 3.
Yeah, yeah. So it sounds like, Frederick, are you feeling that the 3 light call out would be?
Yeah, 3, if we've been doing that before, I think 3 would be great, and to get clarification out to the resident that sent
Yeah.
the correspondence.
Perfect. But most of the money that we pay, just to give you an idea, is for the call outs. It's not so much for the street light replacement, it's for the call out. So if they come to do 3 at once, the cost is significantly less. So yeah, I'm kind of leaning that way too. Fred, will you first that then for the 3 street light call out?
Yes.
Greg, will you second?
Yes.
Great. Thank you. So moved by Fred, seconded by Brigg. Be it resolved, the council directs the CAO to prepare a new streetlight policy bylaw to allow a maintenance call out when there is 3 street lights requiring repairs. Kathy?
In favor?
Frederick?
Yes.
Bring it up.
In favor.
Rod?
Yes.
So that is carried. Okay, I think we were moving on to the fire chief's report. Okay. Okay, so moving on to item 6E, fire chief's report to council, May 13th, 2020.
Yes, Mr. Chair. Can I speak?
Yes, go ahead, Rod.
Okay, the Highway 6 in Espanola there. Now, years ago, we Espanola had a van there which was grant money to them, and all the fire departments around there, we went around and we collected money and from taxpayers and everything else. And that van now, why would we have to go there now? The van was equipped with all kinds of equipment for that job. I don't understand where it affects us. If he could explain that a little bit better. He's not here tonight, but we spent thousands of dollars on a van, and Espanola agreed to look after it, but it's for the whole area. Nairn, they come to Nairn too, because we used to go to a car accident. They used to always show up too. I don't know, but now, 20 years ago when I was on there, if we got a call out, we went. If we started to do what we're supposed to be doing, they usually sit back and wait if we needed help, or else if we recommend them to take over. Eh? But they had all the up-to-date equipment in that van, and it was all grant money, and volunteers went around, firefighter went around and collected money, and we had the grant was so much, and we had to put in the rest. So all of the communities around, we went out and got to raise money and to get that van. Now I'd like to know more about what's going on with that van.
Yeah, I believe in speaking with. Go ahead, Rod.
Go ahead.
In speaking with the fire chief, I believe that equipment is no longer functionable. And I think what's happened recently, Espanola has had some very high expenditures with their new fire hall, new fire trucks, etc. They know that our extrication equipment is much newer and safer than theirs. So I think that's kind of what started the dialogue between the municipalities. Measure is nowhere close to being in agreement with what they're proposing at this time. So I know we will be receiving more information on it in the near future.
Okay, because I don't agree with taking our truck that far. We have a hard time having firemen here now. And if you go respond to that, you have to have a full crew per day.
Right.
So that means our town would have to rely on the mutual aid and Hyman there. So, but I mean, I like to protect our taxpayers more than anything. If the government wants a high car accident, they should be putting a new van in Espanola, like they did before. Okay, that's my. As long as it's not going through now. So, and it sounds like Richard on top of it.
We would have a full agreement in front of council before he was ever allowed to do anything like that.
Yeah.
He was just giving us information that the dialogue has started. And from what I understand, they're nowhere close to common ground on it. So it'll definitely become before us.
Okay. And I agree with him there about Sudbury there. that we don't go past the line.
Yeah, until
I
there's an
agree.
agreement.
I didn't like that anyway to start with, because
Mhm.
you know that they're a bigger town city than ours, and we got to help them out. It should be the other way around. But you know, and like I said, they were going down the crazy 4 or 5 kilometers down the road past our line, and that's not protecting our people here in Erin or Hyman. Okay, that's enough for me.
All right, thank you. So we're just noting his report is being received. There's no motions on that at all. Rod, will you first?
Yes.
Kathy, second?
Yes.
Thank you. Moved by Rod, seconded by Kathy. Be it resolved that the following minutes and reports be noted as being received. Township of Nairn and Hyman CAO's report number 2020-006. Township of Nairn and Hyman CAO's report number 2020-007. Township of Nairn and Hyman CAO's report number 2020-008. Township of Nairn and Hyman Municipal Superintendent report, May 13th, 2020. And Township of Nairn and Hyman Fire Chief's report, May 13th, 2020. Kathy?
Or
Fred?
4.
Bring it up.
Sorry, Mr. Chair. Yes,
Or just
I'm
note
4.
all those reports, all the reports is being received.
Okay, 4. Go ahead.
Rod?
Yes.
So that is carried. Okay, moving on to correspondence. We have obviously discussed that already with the motion that was passed. So we're just noting it as being received. Brig, will you first?
Yes.
Kathy, second.
yes.
Thank you. Moved by Brig, seconded by Kathy, that correspondence 7A be noted as received. Kathy?
Or
Frederick?
In favor, yeah.
Bring it up.
In favor.
Rod?
Yes.
Myself, that's carried. Moving on to accounts. General in the amount of $42,095.62. Public Works, $23,993.31. And Fire, $4,053.62. We'll start with Kathy. Do you have any questions on those disbursements?
I do not.
Okay, Frederick,
No, it looks pretty standard.
bring it up.
Nope, same questions, too much money.
Rod?
No.
Okay, so Fred, will you first accepting those?
Yes.
Brig, second.
Yes.
Thank you. Moved by Fred, seconded by Brigida. Following disbursement sheets be authorized for payment. General in the amount of $42,095.62. Public Works in the amount of $23,993.31. And Fire Department, $4,053.62. Kathy?
Or
Frederick?
In favor.
Bring it up.
In favor.
Rod?
Yes.
Myself, that is carried. Okay, so moving on to bylaws, item 10A. Bylaw number 2020-10 being a bylaw to provide financial relief amendments. The bylaw 2020-01 being a bylaw to charge a rate of interest on tax arrears. We might as well do both of these at once. Basically, we're just extending COVID-19, giving people a little bit more time to pay their bills. So the second one is bylaw 2020-11, being a bylaw to amend bylaw 2018-18, being a bylaw to regulate the supply of water and the price thereof from the municipal waterworks. Anyone have any concerns with council moving ahead on this?
Nope.
Okay. All right. So Fred, will you first that?
Yes, yeah.
You. And Rod, will you second?
Yes.
Thank you. So moved by Fred, seconded by Rod, being a bylaw to provide financial relief amendments to bylaw 2020-01, being a bylaw to charge a rate of interest on tax arrears, be read a first, second, and third time, and finally passed in open council. Its number shall be 2020-10. Kathy?
Or,
Frederick?
In favor. Yep.
Bring it up.
Yep.
Rod?
Yes.
Myself, that is carried. Okay, and on the water one, Brig, will you first it?
Yes.
Thank you. Kathy, second.
yes.
Thank you. Moved by Brig, seconded by Kathy, that being a bylaw to amend bylaw 2018-18, being a bylaw to regulate the supply of water and the price thereof from the municipal water works, be read a first, second, and third time and passed in open council. Its number shall be 2020-11. Kathy?
Yes.
Frederick?
Yes.
Bring it up.
Yes.
Rod?
Yes.
So that is carried. Okay, so now we're going to jump down to the 2020 draft municipal budget review. We're not looking at passing anything this evening. All of the items that were in that have been, we have discussed at previous meetings and public works meetings, etc. We want to get feedback from, obviously, from council. I'm going to start again in order with Kathy. Any
I'm
comments?
good.
Oh,
I'm
okay.
sorry.
So you were good with which one, Kath?
Okay, so draft budget number 1.
Okay. That would be a 5.85% increase in residential tax rates.
Okay, so those are my questions, because there's a lot of looking at here, and
Oh,
it's
definitely.
at the end of the page, it's hard to figure out which is which.
So if you look in the top right corner where the residential is, that includes the school, I believe. Okay, so in your samples, right at the very back of the budget, in the top right corner, at the bottom line on that, you'll see the 5.85%. This is in draft budget 1. Do you see that number?
What page is that?
So that would be the second last page, Kev.
Mr. Chair, could you just give me a minute? I didn't have my bylaws here with me. I think
Oh.
they must be in the other room. I'll be right back.
That's 5.85%
Increase.
increase. Okay.
Draft budget 2, Kathy, would be, if you look in the same boxes, only a 1.04% increase.
Okay. Yeah, so on draft budget 2,
Yes?
on page 19, just have a question here.
Let me just see if you get to that page. 1 second here. Okay, that's it. Just trying to pull that page up, Kathy. Just bear with me for a second.
Sure.
What page was that, Kathy?
Page 19
I
on
don't see a
budget.
page. I don't see a
Draft.
page 19.
I think she means page 19 on the Dropbox, so it would be page 15 out of 16 of the
Okay,
actual
perfect.
budget.
Okay, we've got that. Yeah. I've got that
Thank-
paper copy in front of me. Thanks, Frederick.
No
Okay,
worries.
what was your question?
So my question is, on the top line, LFMA, strategic plan,
Mhm.
the budget is 0, and then the subtotal is $1,100. And I'm sorry, I don't understand that there's a 0 budget and it's $1,100 at the subtotal line.
Okay, if you go back one page where planning and economic development services start, you'll see there's $1,000 budgeted for economic development and $100 for the new residents welcome kit. So that's where you're getting the $1,100 total.
Okay. Sorry, I'm used to
that's
going
okay.
through this with everybody being in the room, so
Yeah,
it's
for sure.
learning curve here, so.
Agreed. So are you
Right, that
leaning, Kathy, are you
Sorry.
leaning more towards draft budget number 2?
Definitely.
Yes, and I think I am. I want to get the rest of council's feel as well on this. Do you have anything else on the budget you'd like to speak to, Kathy?
No, that was my only big question.
Okay, so Frederick, we're going to move to you then.
Yeah, I spoke with the CEO earlier in the week, and we had discussed just the exact difference of what budget number 1 and budget number 2 are.
Right.
So I believe, if I can get clarification, Mr. Chair, it was just the engineering report, correct? Or
Engineering for McDonald Street, that's correct.
so that alone will have either the 5% or almost 6% increase versus the 1%.
That's correct.
So I believe I would be leaning more towards the 1% increase.
Right. And we've been
Is that budget
doing
2?
that pretty consistently over the years too. So
Yeah.
That would be on budget 2, Rod. That's correct.
No.
Okay, Brig, I want to get to you. All right, Frederick, do you have anything else?
No, it was just I wanted to point
Okay.
that out.
Perfect.
During times that we discussed with in a public works meeting that we are going to budget for it, but now seeing the price of it, it's kind of a shame that it's not cheaper. I mean, things don't come cheap, I guess.
No, for sure. And it's something that we can, obviously our CEO is going to be chasing grants, and if that opportunity comes up for an infrastructure grant in the near future, then that's probably the direction we'll lean to it with council's approval.
I think that's the right way. Yeah.
Perfect. Okay, so next, Brigida, you're on the list. Do you have comments on the budget, or which way are you leaning?
Well, I'm definitely leaning towards the 1%. My only question was, without going through the entire thing right now, was what was our reserves put away this year in this budget? I didn't see any. Sorry? I didn't see any reserves in the general, and I was just wondering if there are reserves put away, because I don't like to pass the budget without us putting reserves away. So I didn't see any. So maybe if I could just be enlightened, that would be great.
Okay, I'm going to ask Melinda to speak to that.
Yep.
Hi, Brig. Yes, I just received our our draft financial statements from KPMG, and we were discussing our reserves, and they're going to come in the very near future and give a presentation to council, and there will be a recommendation as part of that presentation to put some money aside into reserves. That was due to us pulling so much out of them last year for the fire truck. Now that the accountants have looked at it, they've realized we've pulled too much out of reserves to cover the current cost of it. So there will be some recommendations to put some of that money back.
Okay, so on this document right here, Belinda, there are no reserves put aside with the 1% increase, correct?
There is a small reserve.
Sorry?
There will be a small amount of, I believe it's $1,000 or $1,600 that we have.
Oh, I'm sorry, you're breaking up, Belinda. I can't hear you.
I'm sorry, I'll come closer.
Okay, that's better.
There is a small amount put into the water reserves. If you look, it's around only $1,600. That's what we have budgeted as an increase in water for this year. So at this time, that's the only amount that will be transferred into reserves until we get our accountant's recommendations.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'll support a budget when we go ahead and figure out what our reserves would be. Yeah, and that will probably make a bit of an increase, but I would like to pass a budget with reserves. That's my feelings. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. And again, we're just all trying to get on the same page. I know we're way behind this year, and I think a lot of municipalities are around the country, I'm sure. And again, just trying to get a feel for and identify the important projects that we all think. So this is just the very first kick at the can, basically, with this. It's not anywhere near passing yet. So,
All right.
Rod, did you have some comments?
Yeah, well, I have lots of comments, but I mean, I'm not going to take up all the time. I like to go back to the old system where we have a meeting just for budgeting and go through it page by page there. It didn't take that long the other years. I don't know why we just can't go back to that. You know, we used to, years ago, had a meeting with Robert, the CAO, for general, and a meeting for public works, and a meeting for fire, and then we had one just for council. You know, this is, to me, I spend a lot of time on budget, and this is an important document. Like Brigitte has said, the reserves and that there, if you go page by page, we can have something to say. If you want me to go to everything, I can go page by page and talk about what I want to talk about, but that's not the way that we should be doing it. But this year here is kind of late now. But I like to look back and look at it for next year, that we have a meeting just for budgeting, you know, and then we can ask questions, and then we have another meeting if we don't want to have the public works there, general foreman or whatever, superintendent there. But I mean, you know, to me, that's the way I like to have it, where we can discuss one page at a time and go through it, you know, and know where the grant money's coming from, and what's grant money, where's that grant money going to, or which job is going to, roads or water treatment plant or what. So anyway, that's why I take very interest of that, and I spend a lot of time on budgeting, and to me, if to spend a half an hour here tonight, you know, talking about it, I just feel like it's just going too fast. You know, I like to have one meeting just for budgeting. Thank you, sir. That's it for me.
Thanks, Rod. And again, just a reminder, everything is so behind right now. We just received KPMG's draft report for the 2019 audit. So here we will definitely have a budget meeting. If you have anything ahead of time, all of council doesn't. We've all gone through this line by line already. So to do it again at another meeting, I don't think is necessary. If you go through line by line and you have a question, put it there. You know, so it's not a long, drawn-out meeting where we already have a lot of the answers. So that's what I would propose that any member of council does, which is kind of what we're getting a feel for this evening.
Well, Brigg is the only one that remembered that. I don't know what she thinks about it, but I like to spend a little bit more time on it, but it's up to council.
Okay. So now we're moving on. Item 13. So we're going to motion to go into closed session. Discuss the items on the agenda. Rod, will you first that?
Yes.
Frederick, second.
Yes.
Moved by Rod, second by Fred. The council move into closed session at 7:59 p.m. to review acquisition, sale, lease, and security of municipal property, personal matters regarding an identifiable individual, including municipal employees, and advice subject to solicitor-client privilege. Kathy?
Or
Frederick?
In favor.
Break it up.
Yes, in favor.
Rod?
Yes.
And myself, that is carried. We're going to stop the audio recording now and be in closed session.